My name is Courtney Morrison. I study English with concentrations in creative writing and film studies and a minor in photography. When I'm starting a story, I spend a lot of time thinking about what I want to happen before I actually write it. And when I'm thinking about what I want to happen, I don't think of it in terms of writing really so much as I think about the scene. And then when I sit down, if I have a clear enough image in my head of what's going on, then I can write it clearly. The end usually happens when I decide this is where I'm stopping. It's like I come to that sentence or that moment, I'm like, this is where it has to end. I spend more time thinking about what I'm going to write than I actually do like writing. So if it's a very ambitious thought and I know that it's ambitious and I know that it's going to be difficult to write, I'll take a lot of time, maybe a few weeks before I ever even write anything down. If it's something that it's like a thought that I have and I want to work it out a little bit and see like what it could be, then I'll sit down immediately and start just writing whatever comes to my head so I can know like what's going on. Usually if I'm revising, it's during my writing process. So anytime that I'm writing a bigger piece, like anything more than a couple of pages, if I walk away from it, whenever I come back, I start at the beginning again. So if I have to come back and sit down at the computer 15 or 20 times, by the time I get to the end, I've read it 15 or 20 times and made changes as I go along. Sentence structure is a lot of what I pay attention to. For me, that's what writing is primarily. It's not the story so much, and I think a good story is very important, and I think some of the best literature that's out there is because it's a good story. But for me, it's about the language and like the way I'm putting the sentences together and the way I'm manipulating the sentences. When I read, I don't read exclusively in what I think should be my demographic, as like a 20-year-old or a woman or a college student or anything like that. I don't pick my literature based on those things. I just read whatever I think sounds interesting. And so I think I write whatever I think would sound interesting as well. I think the question of writing within one's own personal experiences is really popular right now because you get into gender and race issues, which are obviously highly publicized these days. And I think sometimes people become offended if a person writes outside of their actual life experiences. As long as you're writing respectfully and you're not claiming to know anything that you don't know, as long as you do your research and as long as you have something important to say, as long as what you're doing in earnest and you're not making fun of anyone or you're not trying to hurt anyone, I don't really see the problem with stepping outside of yourself.